Call of Duty. It is a series I've been playing since the PC original and moved on to the Xbox 360. And for the longest time, I was a strong defender of it, especially when going up against competition such as the Battlefield series. However, the events of the past few years have made it more and more difficult for me to defend, culminating with the Modern Warfare 3 incident when Activision let go of Infinity Ward members Jason West and Vince Zampella. They went on to form Respawn Entertainment, and their upcoming game Titanfall, which is due for the Xbox 360, Xbox One, and PC, looks to be quite promising. Modern Warfare 3 was finished up with the assistance of Sledgehammer Games, and it turned out to be pretty good, although it wasn't as good as the previous Modern Warfare titles. Even taking this to a higher note, developer Treyarch started working on their series. Call of Duty 3, I admit, was not that good, but I started to really like them after World at War, and the Black Ops series were actually pretty darn good. This year's release is Call of Duty Ghosts, which is being developed by Infinity Ward, what's left of them, with the assistance of Raven Software and Activision developer Neversoft. Hopefully they'll continue the trend that Black Ops 2 did, which is future-based combat. Call of Duty Ghosts still follows in the Modern Warfare universe, as it follows the nuclear destruction in the Middle East in Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. But this time the main enemy is based in South America. As the game begins, we are introduced to a story of the mysterious ghost soldiers being told by U.S. Army Captain Elias Walker. He's explained it to his sons Logan, which is the main character, and his brother Hesh, which is played by Brandon Routh from Superman Returns and Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. However, as the story is being told, there is an attack in deep space via the Orbital Defense Initiative, aka the Odin platform. The Federation attacks it, and the astronauts decide the best decision is to scale the space station. However, during the attack, they are able to launch a kinetic strike on the southwestern United States. The Walker family's home in San Diego is destroyed as a result. We jump ahead to 10 years later in the game. San Diego and the remaining southwestern United States has been destroyed and is now considered no man's land. Logan and Hesh are doing a patrol along with their guard German Shepherd named Riley. They are ambushed by a group of Federation soldiers as they're investigating the appearance of an American soldier known simply as Rourke. Two masked soldiers come and rescue them and found out that they are actually ghosts. It turns out that Rourke himself was a ghost as well, but during the mission to assassinate the then Federation president in Caracas, Venezuela, he ends up falling to his supposed death, but we find out eventually he was captured, brainwashed, and turned traitor, consisting with the Federation. The main campaign comprises of hunting down Rourke and stopping the Federation's plans for future attack on the United States. Most of the campaigns are standard Call of Duty running gun fare that we've seen every year. There are some missions that thankfully provide a change in the monotony. For instance, the addition of Riley as a partner allows you to use him to search areas and attack enemies on command. The attack reminded me a lot of the old Sega Genesis game Shadow Dancer, when you had your guard dog attack soldiers. It works out pretty well there, and it does here as well. There are also missions that feature underwater combat, and something that I never expected to come out, space combat as well. Yes, Call of Duty is now going to the final frontier of combat. And while trying to get behind cover in space is a challenge due to having to alter your altitude as well, adding another axis to manage, it ends up being a lot of fun. Speaking of fun, I have to admit the final few missions of the game were exhilarating to take part in. But sadly, it all ends up being for naught, as the game results in one of the worst crime of sequel bait since Halo 2's finishing this fight cliffhanger. The end just infuriated me, and I want it resolved now. Unfortunately, we know how Call of Duty's cycle is. We're not going to be able to find out until 2015 when it's Infinity Ward's turn to make the game. Admittedly, this is one of the first Call of Duty games I really spent a lot of time doing multiplayer in. The reason I don't do multiplayer is because it's near impossible to really get into a good match early on without higher level players taking advantage of you, sniping you at the moment you get respawned, campers who stay hidden in one space are impossible to hit, as well as stalkers who sneak up behind you and kill you on sight. Thankfully, the camping part is somewhat alleviated with the new gameplay modes that are added. One mode I played in particular is called Cranked. It's similar to Team Deathmatch, except when you score a kill, you become cranked, which means you move faster, aim faster, and toss grenades faster. However, there is a catch. You need to perform another kill within 30 seconds, or you die yourself. I can see how this helps alleviate the camping situation, but I still was able to see some people camping without a problem. There's also a game mode I play called Hunter. Anyone who's familiar with playing classic deathmatch games such as Doom and Quake will be used to this. You start off with just a pistol, and over the course of the game you must acquire care packages to get more weapons. While it does remind me a lot of Quake and Doom, I felt it played more like the Hunger Games. If anyone remembers seeing that movie, the bloodbath that occurred at the cornucopia, that's what Hunter pretty much feels like. Still, I am suffering from problems from cheap opponents who are way too high up level-wise, and I really wish that Call of Duty would allow a better skill matching system. I hate being the only level 5 player in a massive level 40s, 50s, and 60s. Infinity Ward also seems to be following up on Treyarch's popular zombie modes with Extinction, a 4-player co-op mode where you defend an area from waves of aliens, destroying their lairs with a carry-out drill device. It reminds me a bit of Left 4 Dead at times. As always, the production quality of Ghost is top-notch, especially on the Xbox 360 review copy that you're seeing here. The game is a near constant 60 frames per second and looks very impressive on the aging hardware. While I have not seen the PlayStation 4 nor the Xbox One versions, I've heard reports that the PS4 version suffered frame rate drops during multiplayer. But on the other end of the spectrum, the PS4 version runs at native 1080p after being patched, while the Xbox One version runs at 720p. In the end, it's a choice between resolution or frame rate. Personally, I take the latter. In the end, though, Call of Duty Ghosts is starting to feel more familiar than ever before. It really is time for Activision to spice things up. While the addition of space combat is a nice plus, as well as underwater combat, it still isn't enough, and the sequel bait ending will leave tons of fans of the series yelling in frustration. Still, the game is a fun shooter while it lasts. I only hope that Treyarch next year will wow us over. We'll have to wait and see.
SpaceMonkeyMafiaStudios.com